Hello, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
I'm Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is the farm where we raise cross stitch.
Today's Monday, March 15th. It's the 15th, right? Mercy. I'm too damn confused.
I love you.
It's still daylight out right now.
Evil thing. Evil thing.
The only reason I like spring forward time change is it's still daylight out at 6:30 at night.
Give me a couple of weeks and then I might like it.
You'll adjust.
I just said in a couple of weeks, didn't I?
Yes. How was everybody's week last week? If you're in Colorado, you got some. If you're in Colorado or Wyoming, the Front Range, you got some snow this weekend. What? Texas had tornadoes. Welcome to spring.
It ain't here yet. Thought we still had about a week till it's actually here.
Meteorological spring starts. I don't know.
Spring. Spring is spring. Don't go give me this spring or that spring. No, spring.
Calendar spring starts next weekend.
That's what I figured.
So. Do you have anything to say? I have nothing profound to say today.
I miss sleep. Give me my hour back.
Give me my hour back. Nothing exciting happened.
I finally got to the point where I didn't really need the alarm to wake up. I was going to bed at a decent time. And
I have something profound to say. There were comments on last week's video that I cannot find. Whether that person, I mean, and it wasn't like they were rude comments, so whether that person deleted the comments or what, I don't know. Like,
Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, jeez.
I even went into it on the computer and looked, because sometimes people who don't comment regularly, it holds it for review. I don't know why. There were no held for review comments. I don't know.
Maybe YouTube just went, ooh.
So, why don't you shout out our commenters?
Lynn, Angie, more Lynn, more Angie.
Yeah, like I said, it's only showing me Lynn and Angie having commented on our videos, and I know there was at least one other person that commented on our videos. I want to say there was two. I have no flipping idea. So I do apologize. I'm sorry. Other than that, I don't know. That is the most exciting thing that happened to me this week. YouTube decided to eat my comments on my video.
I'm finally digging out of my hole at work.
Yay!
My back is gonna break.
That's not. You're okay. I love you.
Oh no, it's just a big pile of crud, and I keep getting everybody else's piles.
I'm sorry.
Moving on.
All right, well, why don't we move on to whips, because y'all might want to go to the bathroom, get a drink, grab a snack. It's gonna be a party.
We're about to get down. This is his house.
It's gonna be a party. Whips. Whip. Whip it real good.
Yeah, like I'm gonna put this in your hand. One of these days she's gonna kill me. Until then, I'm gonna have a pretty fun time. Ink Circles, Dragons of Sumatra. It is on 16 count. Picture this plus thunderstorm. And I did a little bit. Like that. I think I had a little bit of this started.
You only had a little bit of start waiting.
So I got that done. I got this done. I got this part here, and a little bit of stuff around.
Hold still. There. Excuse me.
So I'm getting dangerously, scarily close to the end of this. I don't know what I'm going to do. Can't say Dragons of Sumatra.
So I saw on Ink Circle's Facebook page today. Excuse me. Somebody stitched Dragons of Sumatra on 40 count silk gauze.
This would be neat. Where is it? I can't see it. Plus, this was hard enough on Ada. But on that,
there you go.
couldn't pay me. Probably looked beautiful though.
It did. It did. Okay, excuse me. So, Woody Woodpecker week was last week. Oh, I forgot to play that for you.
What?
Morty, one of my vampire cohorts, sent me a audio file of her doing the Woody Woodpecker sound. Okay. So most of these were pretty arbitrary. You didn't actually have to tie the prompt into a lot of them. So this is gonna seem a little weird. So I started with stitching on the piece that was...
Are you calling my picks weird?
No, I'm just saying it seems a little arbitrary looking at it. So we had to tell about our favorite animal, and we had to pick just one. I would love to say all animals are my favorite, but I wasn't allowed. I had to pick one. So I went with sea turtles, and I stitched on birds. Arbitrary. So, cardinal points. This is stitched on 18 count, hand-dyed by the Solvak Farm and Cleveland Fog.
That floss is all kinds of busy right now.
There's all kinds of floss everywhere. I don't really know what's going on here. I did 303 stitches, which basically kind of just finished in here. Working on extending that border down. There you go. 303 stitches. Okay. We had to stitch on something and tell a story about...
I just realized we don't have the light on, nor do we need it.
Nope. We had to stitch on something and tell about a time a bird annoyed us. I grew up on a farm in Ohio. Canadian geese are the most obnoxious birds on the planet. And also, I grew up in Northern Ohio. Ravens are pretty obnoxious.
Then you have lake gulls.
And I mean ravens as in the football team.
Then you have lake gulls.
Lake gulls. Yes, we have lake gulls.
Seagulls in Lake Erie.
Lake gulls. Some kid when I was in like middle school was like, they're not seagulls. We are not near a sea. They are lake gulls. So it's not. Okay. So I stitched on Belle. Fitting that we had to talk about a time a bird annoyed us because I find this chart challenging.
What did I have to do to that thing?
Joe ended up having to, like, on a big piece of paper, grid out the rows for me.
No, I took a picture of it with my phone after I zoomed in on it, blew up the image on my phone. Because I have a really nice Google Pixel 4, so it actually has a good camera. And Then I barely made out the characters because I'm used to seeing 1980s printed schematics. So I got good at counting things out. But it was just like, oh my god.
Excuse me. There are a significant amount of quarter stitches, and they're challenging to see on the chart, and it makes it a little bit challenging to stitch it. The most challenging part of the quarter stitches is the roses. The quarter stitches on her dress they have a logical flow to it. So while you can't really see them that great, there's a logical flow to them, and there's logic that goes with where they're at. The roses, it just drives me nuts. There's like 4 colors of red in these little roses.
And they swirl.
Because they're roses. And that's... So I did 310 stitches on her. She is on a piece of hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm 28 count even weave in the colorway Black Ice. I have started on the bottom half of that ginormous dress. I really probably should put some beads on the top half because I have a feeling that's going to annoy me. There's not a lot about this that doesn't annoy me.
It's Belle.
It's Belle. That's the only reason I persevere. Oh, I'm like, I know I stitched on that one twice this week. We'll come back to that in a minute. Not Belle. Something else that I don't know. Oh, yes, I do know what I did with that. Okay, so we had to talk about our favorite theme park. I don't have a favorite theme park. I don't have the cover for this project in here, over here. Sorry.
So you should just default to the only one around.
I don't have a favorite theme park. I don't like theme parks. I don't like amusement parks. Okay? The zoo is the closest thing to a theme park that I get. I came up with something about Soak City up in Cedar Point because that's about the closest to a theme park as I will ever get. Is Waterbrook. Joe picked Raven Queen for it. That's why I really wasn't all that worried about getting the cover photo because you can pretty much see her. I am doing her in a red conversion, obviously, on Hand Dyed by the Slovak Farm in the colorway Raven Queen. And I did 374 and a quarter stitches on her.
You know those fractions.
Not like fractional stitches.
Hmm?
Joe does not like the fractional stitches thing. Okay.
All cross stitches, no back stitching, nothing.
This one had to go with, you had to stitch on something that went with the prompt. Stitch on something that could be your theme song. Lynn actually had a really good point. She said I could have went with Scenic Farm and my theme song could have been Green Acres.
I didn't even think of that song.
I didn't think of that either. But I did Lady with the Dog. Who let the dogs out? I let the dogs out. Because now that we have a fenced in yard, I open the door and
Oh,
let the dog
this
out.
weekend she went about she figured out, oh wait, the ground's dry. Yay!
So this is on 14 count Ada. Kit Ada, white. I did 339 stitches on her. So I just have her arm to work out, and then like the top half of her is done. Part of the dog is on the top half of the project, but we're chugging along on it. Chuggy, 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 chuggy. Okay, the other project I stitched on for one of the weekly prompts, we had to tell a story with made up names about someone in our family. My birthday twin gave my mini me butt nuggets to throw at my poor brother. That was the story I came up with. I finished butt nuggets, so we'll get through the rest of whips and then we'll do it. What?
I can see them doing that too.
You were the one who came up with the idea for the story. I don't know where the cover photo for this is. Yes, I do. It's in my hand. Okay, so
This is why I don't see why you're showing the cover photo. Half of it's not right.
having completed my weekly prompts, I moved on to the zombie run. Because I still had 2 outstanding sets of stitches to do for 4 miles. I did both of them on Lady of the Flag so that I could get my 600 stitches in on Lady of the Flag this week. I ended up doing 814 stitches on her. She is on a piece of hand-dyed by the Silver One in the colorway For Your Thoughts. I am doing her in the green conversion that I got from the Mirabilia conversion group. I have the bottom half of her dress to do. I had to do about 100 stitches of frogging on her because I put like this strip and this bottom swishy here in the wrong spot.
That stinks.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, you could have been halfway down the dress and realized that.
Yeah, I could have been in a spot where it was like, oh, I screwed that up. Oh, that's a major mistake. You know. So, my zombie run for the month is complete.
But
My zombie run for the month is complete.
just to remind you all, we are filming this on the 15th.
Today's March 15th. I told you. Get a drink. Okay.
So how's your clan doing with all this extra firepower? Jeez.
They just finished the sweep and we're supposed to be attacking after the sweep is finished, and they're probably going to be like, where's Laura? So I'm going to pause and tell them I'm filming Flosstube. Okay. I've informed them that I'm filming Flosstube.
We will be back to your regularly scheduled slaughter after these messages.
Okay. So I had to stitch on something that was part of a sal for the monthly. So I moved on to monthlies. I had to stitch on something that was part of a sal. Because we started butt nuggets as a sal, I selected that. I finished butt nuggets at 131 stitches into the prompt stitches. So I switched over to the other project that I started with my cohorts of crazy, One Nation. My cohorts of crazy. I busted out some One Nation stitches. I also stitched on this for the prompt, for the monthly prompt of stitch on something that you're stuck on. Because I'm stuck like glue on this when I start stitching it. And then I go, why don't I stitch on this more? And that's really kind of what I thought when I finished up the stitches for the sal prompt. I was like, I need to put more stitches in on this. What else can I fit it on?
I'll let you know in April.
I thought that would be a fabulous...
You're going to lose some floss. Or is that actually attached?
It's attached.
Okay.
I thread my needles. I have 3 needles because it's just basically 3 colors. I have 3 needles, and when I cut a length of floss, I thread 3 needles with the 2 strands each. Makes my life easier. So I ended up doing 303 stitches on this for stuck on and 202 stitches on this for sal. So I did 505 stitches on this. got 5 stars done because each star is 101 stitches. This is on a piece of hand dyed by the Slovak Farm in the colorway Dirt Road. Yes, I have it folded in half. I'm not stitching on the stripes. So I show you the stripe, the whole thing. It's big. It's 28 count, so
That's
it's big.
kind of like me showing the rest of Dragons. I'll do that when it's done. That thing's huge.
Okay, stitch on a color on a
That's
stitch on a
all.
whip of your choice. I picked something that I haven't put a whole lot of stitches on since I started it. So I was like, put some stitches on this, Laura. Home for Christmas by Poem Street Sampler. This was a club chart in 2018. Yes, in 2018 it had been a club chart. She released it as or it had been a club kit. She released it as a standalone chart in 2019, and I salivated the entire year for it, so why am I not hustling to get it stitched, right?
Because you have a very large menu.
I do have a very large menu. This is on a piece of 14 count Ada. It was leftover end from Main Street, so it doesn't have a color name. I dyed it myself. It's hand dyed by the Solar Farm Solo, I guess you could say. And I did
It's blue.
I did 310. It's like a blue gray. I did 310 stitches on this. I have the top half of the house done. It's a big house. Okay. Now we come to the stuff that I have finished for the week. So I told you that I stitched on butt nuggets for the story name, the name story prompt, and for stitch on something that's part of a cell. So I
Really,
did,
dog?
The dog is eating her dinner right now. It's okay. 305 and 131 is 436 stitches on this. Took it to a finish. It was charted to have some back stitching lines around the eggs and around the chicken, but my fabric is lighter than the original fabric. I just didn't feel like it needed it, basically. So I went with that. And if I don't feel like it needs it, it's not getting it. I got too much to stitch for that. And then, so I realized when I was looking at the monthlies on Saturday that because Cheryl had released the monthlies a couple days early, she asked us to put a piece of paper with a keyword that she gave us on the first on all of our monthlies. I realized I didn't do that when I did my first monthly stitches, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It really just wasn't to me. I went ahead and I restitched my stitches for Stitch on Your Newest Whip, which was my Cora Albacora From Me With Love little thing.
I'm hiding it because it has pattern.
It was free. Pretty sure you can't make out a chart from here. It was a freebie. It's a freebie on her webpage. You can go find it on her webpage as a freebie. So I did 301 stitches on that. And then I stitched on it as a stitch on a whip that you're almost done with, because I was pretty much almost done with it anyways. Probably closest to the finish.
Is it done yet?
It was probably closest to the finish. It's done now.
Gotta stop.
Thanks. It was me. You're done.
You
So
love me.
I think
And
all
you had to know I
told,
was going to do that.
all totaled, there was just under 1,000 stitches in on that project. Like, all totaled. Because it was like 3 sets of 300-ish. Okay. Are you ready for this? Now, I finished From Me With Love today before Joe got home and we filmed Flosstube. So I did not count those stitches with last week's stitch counts. Are you ready for last week's stitch counts? I don't think y'all are ready for this because I wasn't ready for this. I about fell out of the chair when I totaled this afternoon. I stitched a dragon liver yesterday for
Please give
stitching
context.
That's 800 stitches. I stitched the equivalent of that on Saturday. And yes, I still made sure we had supper, and I had to run an errand Saturday, and I mean, I still did things. I stitched 3,926 3/4 stitches this week.
The fractions. I don't know how much I stitched, nor am I ever going to count it. If she wants to count it for me, she can go right on ahead.
I stitched my arms off.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they seem kind of attached. You're awesome.
I tried. I do have some haul. So we're going to get the haul and we're going to be right back. I might do my attacks while we're waiting.
Okay.
Haul, y'all.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little bit darker. I was busy.
So was I.
So I got, okay, so the Silks For You pack from January went on a little wander. It finally showed up. Here it is. Some lovely, purple, orange, greens, gold, and then a nice lovely blend. Pretty, pretty. I will have to get those upstairs.
You want to know what that blend would do great for?
Huh.
Fall corn.
That would look really good for autonomous, whatever.
Oh, it's not fall corn.
I'm one of those people that get very mad at myself when I can't pronounce things right, so whatever. I'll have to hide that from Mr. Kitty Butt. And then I got Cora, what is it? It's Cora Cora. She is, I believe she's Italian. Maybe she's French. I don't remember. She's European. I know that. I got Pumpkin Farm. There are several of us who want to stitch multiples of these little farms. Not really all that little. 250 stitches by 150 stitches. They're not really all that little, but I'm debating on my fabric choice for this. We shall see. Oh, and we got to figure out when we're starting it. So that's it for haul.
Monkey presses the button.
We'll do plans. Well, we did plans on Saturday, so obviously we're in different clothes. We'll be back with announcements. Boop. Plans.
Yay.
What are your plans for the week, honey?
Dragons, rock the Dragon Ball Z.
I always go, we forgot my plans. But your plans are kind of easy.
No.
Dragons of Sumatra.
Look how big of a dent I can put into it. I seem to have gotten a bigger hammer, apparently. Like bigger dent than normal.
There you go. So this week is Car Forest Week in Daily 30.
A what?
Car Forest. It's about the International Car Forest of the Last Church in Goldfield, Nevada. That is an art display. Began in 2002 and attracts hundreds of curious tourists each year. It's cars that are sticking out of the ground. Some of them are sticking out of the ground. Some of them are.
Well, it's a good place to have it. They won't rust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the first prompt?
Okay, these are 400 stitch count. It's 300 or 400 this week. So, stitch on a whip with something related to love or compassion in the design. Because
We just found out you don't have enough stitches in that.
I know that's
Well, there's the easy one for that one. Lady with dog.
because I love my greyhound.
Basically.
I actually really like that.
There's one other one that's a dead giveaway, but I think Lady with Dog is just more appropriate for you. You do have one that's a scene from a wedding, so.
I say there is one other one that is a dead giveaway, but that would only get 300 stitches on it because
Grumble, grumble, confetti.
confetti. Hell.
Okay, next.
Put stitches into a whip that has something in the design that could reflect sunlight.
Lady of the Flag. The brass bit at the top of her pole.
I mean, all of her really could reflect sunlight because
Yeah.
she's shiny.
Also, the color that the fabric is made off of would reflect light pretty good, too.
Fair
It's
enough. I'm pretty sure
copper.
the thing that isn't the torch encased in glass because it lights up, right?
I don't know, but I do know in the design, does she have an eagle on top of the flag?
No, it's just like a round finial.
But still, that's shiny and reflecty. It's polished brass, usually.
Okay. Stitch on a piece that has something in the design you might see in a mirage.
The number of funny things that are entering my mind.
Oh.
Easiest one, Shores of Hawthorne Hollow. Water.
I'm like, wait, water. The wheels were turning.
The other option would be Raven Queen. But that's more hallucinating than Mirage.
I mean...
You have a lady with a bunch of ravens show up. Maybe you just watch Naruto.
Or you've watched Once Upon a Time. Fitting with the red dress. Stitch on a piece that has something in the design that either falls or ascends.
Lady with flag. Lady with flag. Flags go up and down.
You are killing me, Smalls.
You said hey, well, you need to make sure you get plenty of stitches in on that. 600, I believe, is the number.
Yep, I'm gonna go 400 in on her this week again, or 800 in on. I'm getting 800 in on her this weekend.
Yeah, I actually was like, how evil should I be? She's like, no.
He was going to try to fit Lady of the Flag to all the prompts, but I'm like, it's a 400 stitch count week. Please don't.
I could have too so far.
This one I might have to do alternative stitches for because I don't think I have a whip that has a graveyard in it.
Shores of Hawthorne Hollow.
It doesn't have a graveyard in it.
Yes, it does. When you're at sea, where do you get buried?
Dude, you're so smart.
So, what was the
I
one
didn't even think about that. Sheesh, would you please?
And when you have homes that old, where did you bury people? The backyard.
He's not wrong.
all hail coming from the East Coast, where I'm assuming that's like in Maine, I think, or something.
They do it here. I mean,
No, Shores of Aquan Hollow.
I don't know. It's
It
made
looks
up, but
it looks East Coast.
it's
north.
definitely New England seacoast. So.
And yeah, but burial at sea or burying the okay.
Okay.
Which means we need to redo the one that I picked Shores for the other one.
You want to go back and revisit that one? We can. Stitch on a piece that has something in the design you might see in a mirage.
Let's see. I have a few. I'm just trying to pick which one.
I know. I'm looking at my list. I could come up with a few.
I just don't know what I want to do to you. Well, you could, if you're a New Yorker, it'd be Lady of the Flag. But I'm not going to do that to you. You have already had 800. I don't know. That may stitches on one project, your head would pop off.
It might.
And see, Winter Fairy annoyed you.
To be truthful, the most annoying thing was that I didn't have the one floss, and I do have it now. So.
Let me see. The hut. That's the one with the little house.
The house in the woods.
That would work.
Okay.
A mirage for a home.
No, I'm thinking, is there 400 stitches in it? I believe there is.
Well, if there isn't, just do Scenic Farm for the same thing. A building. If you're having a mirage, sometimes you will think you found a building.
Mm-hmm.
Walk up and it's a rock.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta stink.
No.
I did warn Cheryl that I would be stretching for a mile if I had to. We're stretching all the way to the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stretching that. Okay. Make sure I've got all of them. I'm pretty sure I do. I was doing this yesterday while I was doing other stuff. Yesterday was a day. Love, sunlight, mirage, falls or ascends, graveyard. Okay, we're good.
What was that number 6 on all caps?
Oh, that's the daily 30 non-counting challenge. You can, if you stitch 30 minutes a day, you don't have to count the stitches. You can't put, and I could probably actually start doing that now. I wasn't doing it because it doesn't, like, you couldn't do the daily 30 while you were stitching another prompt. It had to be separate stitches.
Now you have enough time.
I do probably have the time to do it now, so I just haven't because I just didn't, because when I started I didn't really have the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this is different from normal how?
What's different?
Me doing stuff like, oh yeah, graveyard, the ocean.
I honestly, I saw that and I went,
sums
graveyard, the ocean. What am I gonna do for that?
Just graveyard. It's like, yeah, use the ocean. Because guess what? There's probably a lot of people buried out there. Properly buried. I'm not talking like shipwrecks. I'm talking that was the best thing to do, especially in ye olde sailboat times. She didn't have refrigerators, and it took a good 3 months.
Well, yeah, and I mean, truthfully, shipwrecks.
That too, but I was actually specifically talking about if you died on the boat, you gotta bury.
Right,
us.
but like in Lake Erie, well, not just Lake Erie, the Great Lakes. Really, there are wrecks that you're not allowed to just go out and dive down. You have to get a permit to dive them because they are considered grave sites because there are so many people who went down with the ship. The Fitzgerald is the one that pops in my brain immediately because the crew.
I find it hard. You are having a hard time with this, considering how much you know about it.
I didn't even it didn't even register.
You want to know the only reason why it registered in my head? This will make you laugh. My D&D campaign's in an archipelago.
What's an archipelago?
A very large grouping of islands.
Okay. So like the Philippines?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Or the Caribbean. The Caribbean's got it's a large.
Actually, this is a little bit bigger than most anything. It's basically like fictional, just they're small continents, but almost everything's islands, and we're sailing around. So we've had NPCs bite the bullet because, well, it's a campaign. People showed up and tried to kill us. We stopped them, but AoE. So we held surface at sea.
Fair enough. I didn't even like put water ships graveyard. I didn't put it together until you said it. I just didn't.
And the house on shores would actually work too, because houses from that time period, there's a good chance there might be a body in the backyard. Just ask Ghost Nation.
Ask all my ghost hunting shows, because that's...
We brought out 3 cadaver dogs. They all ran to the same spot. Crap, we gotta call the cops.
That was in Gettysburg. It was actually not in Gettysburg. It was outside of Gettysburg. But anyways, okay. So that's our plans for the coming week.
Yep.
Announcements. Excuse me. Sorry. We are closing in on the retreat. We're now under a month away.
Dun, dun, dun.
I got a lot of work to do.
You got plenty of time to do it?
Yeah. For that. Sorry. It will be April 8th, 9th, and 10th. Further information can be found linked below. After that weekend, I will hopefully have figured out when next year's retreat will be. I will probably advertise next year's retreat a little bit more heavily, because we will be in a everybody's vaccinated from COVID world.
I hope.
We hope. Yeah, things will hopefully be better. 18 count fabric is back in stock. 28 count. Why is my light flickering? 28 count even weave is back in stock. I still am waiting on 14 count and 16 count Ada to come back in stock for dyeing. It is what it is. I'm working on bags, but most of them will be offered to the retreat goers first, because I don't have a vendor at the retreat. I'm the only vendor at the retreat. I need stuff to sell because I don't have fabric. So that's it for the announcements. You guys have seen the plans. I have nothing else to say. Do you have anything else to say?
I love you.
I love you too.
And I'm going light bulb shopping. There's a reason they're flickering.
The light bulbs are dying. That happened in the kitchen with the kitchen fixture while I was cooking dinner, and it was freaking me out because I'm like, what the heck is happening? Because it was like really flickering. Okay.
Also, old wiring.
Yeah, and that terrifies me because I don't want my pretty house to burn down.
Oh, it's not going to burn down. It's doing the opposite of that.
Okay. Well, what do we want the people to do?
Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, thingy me bobby, all of the standard YouTube, blah, 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 blah.
Tell your people about us. We are at, I think when I last looked, we were at 300. We were like almost at 300. We were at 297 or something like that. We're almost at 300
Tell
subscribers.
them about us. We want all the subs we can.
I mean, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we can go live. That's really kind of my only end game. Is getting to that magic 1,000 subscribers, so we can go live and do like a live stitch with me when we feel like it.
Like what we'd probably do tonight if it wasn't for the fact we can't.
I know.
Because we're actually both just going to sit here. I have my stitch already over
we're
here.
just going to sit here and stitch, and if we could go live, we probably could, but we can't. So.
That's why I'm going light bulb shopping.
All right. That's it. We will see you all next time.
Bye.